Imagine a world where children learn from their mistakes, not just suffer the consequences. Welcome to the world of educational discipline. This method of parenting extends beyond merely enforcing rules or imposing punishments. It's about molding young minds by guiding them towards a deeper understanding of their actions and helping them grow into responsible, empathetic individuals. Let's take a simple scenario. Suppose a child breaks a rule, such as not sharing their toys. In this case, educational discipline doesn't mean immediately scolding the child or taking away the toy for good. Instead, it might involve temporarily removing the toy, and then calmly explaining why sharing is important and why the toy was taken away. This approach helps the child understand the consequences of their actions, rather than just feeling the sting of punishment. It's a subtle shift in perspective that can make a world of difference in a child's mind. Educational discipline is about teaching children respect for themselves and others, responsibility for their actions, and the ability to make sound judgments. It's about providing a safe, stable environment where children can learn, grow, and thrive. So, educational discipline is not about punishment, but about guiding children towards understanding their actions. It's about helping them become the best version of themselves, one lesson at a time. Now, how can we make educational discipline effective? Let's break it down into 3 fundamental principles. First is clarity and consistency in rules. Children need a firm grasp of what's expected of them. If rules are fuzzy or inconsistently enforced, children may feel confused and unsure of how to behave. For instance, if the rule is to wash hands before meals, make sure this applies to every meal, regardless of whether it's a quick snack or a full dinner. The second principle is establishing a clear link between punishment and undesirable behavior. Discipline should not be a random act of punishment. Instead, it should be proportional to the undesirable behavior and aim to educate. Let's say a child refuses to tidy up their toys. An appropriate response might be to temporarily remove the toys, explaining that they can have them back once they've demonstrated they can take care of them. This teaches responsibility and respect for their belongings. The third principle is moderate use of discipline. It's easy to fall into a cycle of constant punishment, but this can do more harm than good. Discipline should be used sparingly and should never be the default response to undesirable behavior. For instance, if a child is struggling with homework, instead of punishing them for not understanding, take the time to help them. This approach reinforces the idea that it's okay to ask for help and that learning is a process. Remember, the goal here is not to punish, but to guide and educate. So instead of simply reacting to misbehavior, try to understand why it's happening. Is your child hungry, tired, or seeking attention? Once you understand the root cause, you can address it directly and use discipline as a tool for teaching, not punishment. By adhering to these principles, you can create an environment where discipline is seen as a learning opportunity, not a threat. And in doing so, you'll be raising children who are respectful, responsible, and ready to face the challenges of life. Remember, the goal here is not to punish, but to guide and educate. But what happens when we discipline our children? What effects does it have on them? Discipline, when used effectively, can be a powerful tool in shaping a child's behavior. However, it's important to remember that there's a fine line between constructive discipline and damaging one's self-esteem. Excessive or harsh discipline can indeed lead to a decrease in a child's self-confidence, making them feel less worthy or capable. This is why it's absolutely crucial to balance behavior correction with nurturing the child's self-belief and self-worth. There's also a critical need for a balance between punishment and reward. While it's necessary to correct undesirable behavior, it's equally important to encourage and reward desirable ones. This balance can create a positive learning environment where the child feels motivated to behave well and understands the consequences of their actions. For instance, let's say a school-age child makes significant efforts to improve their academic performance after a challenging period. A reward, like a special outing or a small gift, can be a great way to positively reinforce this desired behavior. It shows the child that their efforts are recognized and appreciated, which in turn motivates them to continue striving for improvement. So, it's all about balance and positive reinforcement. How does educational discipline change as children grow older? Well, as children progress through different developmental stages, the methods we use to guide their behavior must also evolve. Let's break it down by age group. For our youngest ones, babies and toddlers up to 2 years old, gentle limits and redirection are often the most effective strategies. For instance, if your baby reaches for a hot stove, redirect their attention to a safe toy instead. It's about teaching them what's safe and what's not. in a loving and protective way. As children grow into their preschool years between 3 and 5, reflection time can be introduced. Let's say your preschooler gets upset and kicks a toy. Instead of just telling them it's wrong, give them a short period to reflect on why their behavior was inappropriate. This helps them understand their actions and emotions better. Moving on to school-age children from 6 to 12 years old, the loss of privileges can be a useful tool. Imagine your child consistently refuses to do their homework. An effective discipline strategy might be to reduce their screen time until the homework is satisfactorily completed. This teaches them about responsibility and the consequences of their choices. As they grow, our strategies for guidance must evolve too. Education discipline is a journey, and it's not always easy to get it right. While we've talked about effective strategies, it's equally important to understand what not to do. Let's examine some common mistakes you should avoid when disciplining your child. Firstly, excessive physical punishments. While it may seem like a quick fix, physical punishments can lead to emotional trauma, decreased self-esteem, and behavioral issues. This can harm your child's development and relationship with you in the long run. Next, humiliating punishments. Humiliating a child in public or ridiculing them can have long-term effects on their self-esteem and confidence. It's crucial to correct their behavior in a respectful and thoughtful way that encourages learning and growth. Finally, arbitrary punishments. Punishments disconnected from the undesirable behavior can cause confusion and create a sense of injustice. For example, if a child accidentally spills a glass of water, punishing them by denying a later meal would be arbitrary. This could breed resentment and fail to teach them the intended lesson. Discipline is about teaching and guiding, not punishing. By avoiding these common mistakes, we can create a positive learning environment that encourages our children to grow into responsible and empathetic individuals. As we've seen, educational discipline is not just about correcting behavior, but also about nurturing growth and developing character. It's a delicate balance of setting boundaries and allowing freedom, of teaching responsibility and fostering empathy. It's about being firm but fair, consistent but compassionate. Remember, every child is unique, and what works for one may not work for another. It's all about finding the right approach for your child. We hope this video has provided you with some valuable insights into the world of educational discipline. But we'd love to hear your thoughts too. Do you have any experiences to share or questions to ask? Please drop them in the comments section below. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and consider sharing it with other parents or educators who might benefit from it. We appreciate your support and engagement. Thanks for joining us today, and remember, discipline is not about control, but about cultivating a sense of responsibility and respect. Stay tuned for more videos on parenting and education. Until next time.